how I feel about Capella University is I am very disappointed in the school. Um, I feel like in terms of how they treat their students and the mentorship that they provide, I would definitely give them an F. They would definitely fail in my book. I received no help whatsoever from Capella University. Well, I attended Capella University from 2006 after I graduated with my master's degree from Amberton University. Within the first 2 years, I completed my coursework there, and then I finished my comprehensive exam. By 2010, I had completed my what's called the methodology review form at Capella University, which pretty much stated that my research was approved and ready to be submitted to the IRB board. Just refer to that. So I have this letter from Dr. Snyder, who was the external IRB review person, licensed psychologist, and what she said, on August 4th, 2010, he says, "Congratulations, your methodology review form for the study titled The Relational Behavior Model as a Predictor of HIV-Related Parental Communication has been approved. The summative rating by the reviewer is 7.0. This indicates that the reviewer found the methodological choices and design to be acceptable at the standards currently operative in basically the Department of Psychology." So then I'll just skip down for time's sake to the last part of the letter that says, "I am pleased to extend my congratulations to the learner of this major benchmark, making progress towards completing the doctoral degree, very best success and completion of the project." So I received approval for my methodology back in August 4th of 2010 that says that, which was a 7.0. According to Capella University's rating, according to the Capella University's rating, definitions of rating for research, a 7 to 8 is satisfactory. It says the responses answers the items fully. It demonstrates a well-integrated knowledge of methodology and design and are both clear and well presented. References and intact citations are appropriate and properly formatting. Writing is correct in usage and presentation, although there may be occasional errors, fewer than 2 per page. So that was the rating that I received for my dissertation. So in April of 2011, the IRB board was shut down, as my fellow classmates have indicated. It was shut down, and a month before it was shut down, so March of 2011, I received first, let me back up. Before that, when I submitted the methodology review, which was approved to the IRB board, it came back to me stating there was a conflict of interest. So I answered the conflict of interest and then sent it back. This was in the beginning of 2011, around January. And then after I sent it back to the IRB board, it came back to me stating that I needed to do minor revisions. And that was around February, sometime 2011 in the beginning. And then once again, I submitted it back to the IRB board. And then March of 2011, it came back stating that I needed to have a full IRB review. So it had to go to the full IRB board for review. And this is the letter I have here that states that. And basically it says, the study titled The Relational Behavior Model as a Predictor of the HIV-Related Parental Communication has been referred for full IRB review, which means that your study needs to be reviewed by the full IRB committee. And so I'll just skip down to the bottom of this letter that says who is on the full IRB committee. It says the full IRB committee is composed of the IRB reviewers from each school at Capella University, as well as external members. These members have scientific and non-scientific expertise. They will deliberate on your submission in this meeting in accordance with Capella's research policies, the federal regulations, and the Belmont Report. And so they scheduled the full IRB board review, which, in this case, they continued to increase my risk level, even though back in August 4th of 2010, it was minimum risk level for my research, and it was approved back then. And so when I went to the full IRB board review, I did not have a dissertation chair present. I had no one from my committee present. I was there as a student by myself with the entire full IRB committee to defend my research. So after that, after the full IRB committee, they undid my research and told me I needed to do major revisions on my research. And so basically they said I didn't have a validated scale, which was not true. I did have a validated scale by D. Clementi, and I think it was Procraster. So I used their scale. So I did have scales that were validated and assessment scale for my research. So that was not true. So afterwards, it just kept going back and forth to the IRB, and they held it up, basically. They held it up. My committee members got changed out, and then I had one person on the committee who jumped off my committee prior to my oral defense. So eventually in 2012, during this time, it's going back and forth, and I'm going through all this revisions and changes. And so my new dissertation chair, he approved all my research, told me to finish the data collection, to do the analysis of it, and prepare for my oral defense. So I sent it out to all of the committee members to review my dissertation, to see if they had any questions. And no one had any questions, except for there was a new person who was put on my committee, and he was under the impression that I was supposed to do a methodology review form based on their new system. And that was not the case. So I guess it upset him that I didn't have to do that. And he got off my committee right before my oral defense, which my oral defense was scheduled September 7th, 2012 at 5 p.m. And that was Central Time. And so I'm waiting for my oral defense to begin. And 15 minutes prior to my oral defense, well, let me back up just a little bit, because right after that, when the other committee member jumped off my committee, then the department psychologist chair, she put her faculty person on my committee, which I did not choose, and I did not want that person. I had already asked for several other committee members who were more aware of the type of research I was doing with the population that I had targeted. And so I had asked for either one of those persons, which I was denied. And so she put her faculty lead person on my dissertation committee at the last minute, who did review my dissertation and approved of it and agreed to the oral defense timing. But when it was scheduled at 5 o'clock on September 7th, 2012, 15 minutes prior to the defense call, she jumps off and says that I need to do revisions, and told my dissertation chair that she would not move forward with my oral defense. And so since that time, it's been held up ever since. I've gone through the Department of Education, went back and forth over a year. And they basically, it felt like they helped Capella, it did nothing. And then then I submitted it to the Office of Higher Education, because based upon the dissertation manual from Capella University, they didn't follow their rules. They didn't follow what they were supposed to do. And I have that in this book that I've outlined. And this is the second book I have done. The first book was twice as large, but I had documentation. I sent it to the Office of Higher Education. That was back in 2016. And they sent it over to Capella University, which their attorney responded, which was very vague and didn't really make sense what they said. And so I was waiting for a response, and then I haven't heard anything. And then Betsy Talbot in 2018 sent the letters closing my case, even though prior to that, they said they found, what did they say? They found things that Capella University has done wrong, and they were waiting for an appeal from Capella University. So all this time, I'm thinking that I'm waiting for an answer when they had just, Miss Talbot had just closed the case, and I didn't even know about it. The notice went to a wrong address. And so when I contacted her, I think it was earlier this year, May 18th, she said to resubmit it to her assistant, which I resubmitted this book to the assistant, in which I've heard nothing. I hadn't even received a notification, an acknowledgement to say they even got it. But I sent it certified, so I know they received it. And I also sent a copy to the Attorney General's office. And that's pretty much where it has been. It's, it's just kind of just been silent and dismissive. And, I haven't got an answer from anyone. Feels like it's been a shell of a school because you did not get feedback from the people you were supposed to get feedback from. And that was one of the reasons I was attracted to the school. And this has been common with all the students that I've come in contact with, the 53 students. Whenever you call to try to get a question answered, it would go to the advisor, which is pretty generic. I think it's a master's level person who answers the phone, who can't answer any of your questions. They send you back to your dissertation chair, the / mentor, because those words are used interchangeably. And then all they do is send you back to the advisor. So you're constantly in a circle with no one answering your questions. And it's just been awful. It's been awful from all the students. And it's a shame that they even cite the Belmont report, because they have harmed many students in this situation. Many people have sacrificed a lot to attend this school. And, if they didn't feel like we were PhD worthy students, they could have told us that earlier in the program, not kept us in the school for 4, 5, 6 years, just taking money. That's federal tuition money that the federal government gives so that students that really can't afford school, college, provides the money for them to go to school, and they pay the tuition back. So it's pretty guaranteed money for the school. And that happens every quarter, where they're taking, and that's part of the problem that I've seen at Capella University, is you have a lot of unnecessary delays where they're just getting money doing nothing. You got committee members getting paid for doing nothing, and the students are left with the bill. And it's, it shouldn't take an interview like this to get results. I think the students that I've come in contact with are all scholarly students. They take their education very serious. It takes a lot to do an online degree. I think as many people are finding out now how difficult it can be. I think Capella should reach out and do what's right. And I've been looking for Capella University to do that for a very long time. So I'm hoping that they will. I think that they need to make amends with every single one of these students that have filed complaints, as most scholarly schools would. When I looked at other schools, notable schools, policies on grievances, I see a process. I see a transparent process that most schools will go through. With Capella University, there was no process. There was no transparent process, and there was no process at all. There was a piece of paper saying they did something, which show me what they did. I have no idea. And that's it. And I think Capella University needs to be held accountable for their actions by government agencies. Just like the Office of Higher Education, I've showed them regulations and policies based on Capella University's book, their manuals, that they did not follow. So I don't understand why the students are being punished in this. I have not been able to move forward in my career because I need my Ph.D., obviously. So, I'm doing the same thing I could do with a master's degree as far as my profession is concerned. So it's just been a waste of time and money and energy and just emotionally just very taxing all the way around. And I know some students that have really suffered emotionally behind this, financially, emotionally, in every area. And, I wish that Capella University or government agencies will reach out and make, enforce what these schools are supposed to do, the regulations that they are supposed to abide by. I don't know anyone personally that has received a PhD degree from Capella. I think there have been a couple of students I've known, but I know they went through a lot to the point of ready to sue Capella to even get that. And, at that point, when I was hearing of their difficulties, I was still fairly new at Capella, so I didn't want to get involved in stuff like that. I did not want to go to this point with Capella University. I just wanted to study and get my degree and move on. But it's just been terrible. It's been felt more like a sham where they just don't care about their students. And it's a shame. I would definitely recommend a ground school. If I had to do it over again, I would definitely go to a ground school and not an online school, because at least you have in-person, face-to-face, you can talk to people. I think ground school is more, they have more of a foundation. It's not a up-and-coming new program or new school. So I would definitely choose a program in a school that's been in existence and has a successful track record of caring about their students. So that's how I would choose a school. I would not choose an online school like Capella University.